Okay, back on. So paper 2 topics that you study with your curriculum for us are either authoritarian states or the development and the rise and fall of the Cold War, basically. So within these topics, you have different stages that you can focus on. So if we look at authoritarian states first, first of all, your question for that is, which state are you going to look at? We've said you can't look at Nazi Germany. That's only because we talk a lot about Nazi Germany in all three papers, and we feel we are going to give you lots of information. The paper 2 topic always has a compare or contrast with another authoritarian state. So this is a good chance for you to choose a state that you will become a bit of a expert in, and will kind of alleviate your studying, so that you would just need to focus on revising about Hitler and just kind of remembering the things you learned through historical investigation. Some states, we study Mao as a comparison, and we also study Stalin because he's part of our Russian-Soviet history section. We have looked at Mussolini, not in detail, but you can choose him. There's also Nasser with Egypt, Tito, Yugoslavia, Ceausescu in Romania. Who else did I have down here? Castro in Cuba. And you can also look at Mao and Stalin, like I said. So once you've chosen your state, then you are going to decide what part of this authoritarian state am I going to focus on. So in the curriculum, when you study authoritarian states, you need to understand the rise, consolidation, and fall of these states. So you need to choose one of those three to begin with. This is still part of your topic. Jumping over to Cold War. So the Cold War is a bigger topic. It's kind of spread out. However, the basic main three are China, US, and USSR. So what you want to focus on there is, first of all, which of those three are you going to focus on, and what time period are you looking at? Some bullet points from the curriculum with Cold War, I know we haven't looked at this yet, is the origin of the Cold War. So that's anywhere from World War II to about 1950, incorporating even the beginning of the first Berlin crisis. The development of the Cold War, so that can be increasing tensions and decreasing tensions. Certain crises in class this next year, we will look at Cuba and the 2 Berlin crises, but there's quite a lot of other ones. There's Egypt, there's Taiwan, Korean War is even can be considered a crisis. So basically a crisis in the Cold War is a situation where at some points we looked like we might be going into a third world war, excuse me. Détente, if you're not familiar, French word for lessening of tension, and this is happens in the 70s, but Reagan gets into power in the 80s and things kind of ramp up again. Not blaming Reagan, that's kind of rude, but anyways. And then late 80s, we have our second détente and kind of complete collapse of the Soviet Union. So Cold War, you've got to kind of hone in time period and place. And so you've got your topic. And some of you are still here, so I would suggest you look at the curriculum and you choose a bullet, okay? And then we come down to number 2, which is your historical concepts. So in your question, you should include some sort of concept, one of our historical concepts. I'm suggesting cause or consequence will be better for these topics. Significance can be good as well. Just needs a little wordsmithing when you go to write the question, but feel free to choose one of those three. These are not the only historical concepts. I just am recommending them to you. Okay, so now we come down to factors. So at the bottom I've got some examples of factors, but what you want to focus on, so you've decided you're going to look at the cause of the rise of the authoritarian state under Stalin. And then you're going to actually look at factors. So you're going to look at maybe the factor of political instability in the Soviet Union at that time. So this is the factor that you're going to focus on. And so you're going to put it in your question because this is going to be your main part of your research. And then step 4 is to make a question. So our first question that we come up with, which of course you can't use Hitler, but I thought I put it on here because you guys are studying that right now. So why did Hitler rise to power? That is not a great question. So away it goes. Better question is, to what extent did the stock market crash? I'm maybe going to put the date in there. Oh my God. Can I save this video? Sorry guys, don't want to redo it. Stock market crash. Help me, please. Okay. Okay. Stock market crash in 1929 lead to the rise of the Nazi state in early 1930s. Just a quick note, our new curriculum is focused on the authoritarian states. It is not focused on the leaders. So you can actually take that as a factor. So one of the factors, if we look down here at my factors, please don't fall over. Is you can look at either social, political, economic, leadership style, cult of personality, ideologies, or role of media. So you can actually look at, say, Hitler as a factor of the Nazi authoritarian state. So authoritarian states focus on the whole state, and that's your curriculum, but you can definitely choose a leader within there. Now, the 5th part is more to do with your research. So your claim is the economics was the main factor, and now you're going to kind of look at someone who comes up with a counterclaim, and there's usually a group of people who think about this, right? So both of these, your claim and your counterclaim, should be easy to find on the internet. It should be well researched, well documented. It shouldn't be just one person's ideas from YouTube is your counterclaim and one kind of professor somewhere. This is why I prefer factors. I think there are groups of people who look more at economics, and there's groups of people who look at social ideas, and there's groups of people who look at political ideas. You really just need 2 well-formed perspectives on this, and you're going to use it to develop your argument. And at the end, you are going to kind of argue to a reasoned conclusion, which I can talk to you more about that afterwards. I just wanted to give you a video about making a question.